Hello guys, welcome back to the Beastie Room. Today we are going to do one of the spiders that we got in from our good friends at Spa Spiders, the Theraphosa apophysis. Now we picked up a couple of young sexed females back earlier in the year, last year at one of the shows, and yeah, they were doing such a good deal down there at Spa Spiders, we just couldn't resist. So we had to get a couple. And we've had a bit of an inkling. We've got a project on the go at the moment where we are covering the Sturmies, the Blondies, and the apophysis. So we have now got some of each, and we're now going to proceed in the breeding program. Now, as many of you know, we normally use our glass enclosures, our Komodos, and we've also used our custom build jobs for the bigger spiders. But what we're going to do now, we've experimented a little bit, and we've got some Sturmies in tubs like these, and our apophysis are now outgrown the little bra plast pots that they're in, and they now need to go up. So we decided to actually move them up into this size. Now this will pretty much do them as an adult as well, and it'd be suitable enough for us to breed them in as well. But we're going to see how they go. They might get another upgrade yet. So what we're going to do, these guys need a very high humidity. They need it up and around about the 80% mark. But that being said, they need the temperatures, I believe, down to the lower 70s. Now many people are keeping their Theraphosa up in the high 70s to 80s. And yes, they do survive. They live. They do everything that they're supposed to do, but the breeding is quite irregular. Now, I think some of this is down to temperature, so hence why our breeding programs, we are doing everything a little bit different. As in the whole beastie fashion, as we do everything, we go with our gut feeling and we try new things, and hopefully this is going to work. I'm pretty sure it is. So we've got these tubs here. These are a 37-litre tub. For those of you like dimensions, this is it's 19 inches long by, what is that, 10.5 inches high, probably about the same, yeah, 12 inches wide. So it's a good size. Now what we've done here, although they really require a high humidity, this doesn't mean that your substrate needs to be wet. The substrate needs to be just on the damp side, nothing more. So it's relatively dry, really. Not at all how you would be led to believe to keep these guys. Most people say that you need to be on a really damp substrate. It's not good. Wet substrates are not good. So we are literally going to pull away from that. These are going to be kept not dry, but to the point where we can squeeze it and it won't stick to our hands. So it's still got a moisture content, but it's not wet down there. And because they like to burrow, we're going to give them a reasonable amount, you know, a good few inches. These are like nearly 11 inches high. So they're going to have a good 6 inches or so of diggable soil in which they can go down. And that is more than enough for a spider in captivity. He's not trying to get away from high temperatures or anything like that as he would in the wild. Now we all know that literature in the wild states that they bury down to God knows where, down to the depths of the earth. It's not necessary in captivity. We don't need to go to them extremes. We control the environment, and that is the important thing to remember. So we control the humidity, we control the temperature, we control everything. So we can adjust it to fit our spider. So what we're going to do now, this one here, as you can see, it has been already pre-drilled with holes. We've got holes in the lid as well. This is going to give us our airflow, which will help by keeping the exact environment that we're after. So I'm going to show you how I do that. And that's because it does appear that many people have problems with how they do their air holes and things in their enclosures. So I'm going to show you how I do mine. And it's really easy. It doesn't need to be hard. I don't know if you can see here, there is a tiny lip there. I'll show that. There's a corner there. Can you see that? in the video. Yeah, so what we're going to do, we're going to run a piece of tape literally from that one to the one in the other corner. They're on each corner, so that is what we're going to do. So I'll show you now. So all I do is literally put it up. We use our masking tape, and we are going to simply go down like that, and we're going to do this all the way around, nice and simple. Now this saves doing measuring it out and all that sort of stuff, and as you know, I do like things to be relatively in line. I hate looking at enclosures where the lines are like the sea, you know, they're all wavy like that. I don't like all that. I think it looks horrible. So we put a little bit of care. So all we do is we put our bit of tape in there like so. Now, an important thing that we're going to use here, this is what we call a step drill. And as you can see, it's like cone shaped. Yeah. Now, each of these little segments is a different depth. It will give you a different sized hole. So if we go down to there, we only put it in that far, you're going to get a tiny hole. If you put it right the way up here, you're getting a much bigger hole. Yeah, this is called a step drill, and absolutely brilliant bit of kit. So what we do is we are literally going to go at the bottom of our piece of tape here. We can see that. We're all there. Now all we're doing is our fingers are on the other side, so we're just putting a little bit of pressure on it because you don't want it to be buckling underneath. And we literally just swap it in, and we go in. We go to the size that we want. It doesn't need to be very big. It's only to allow air through. So we can literally just plant this through there. Don't have to be too precise. You see how that cuts a lovely clean hole? It's not putting too much pressure on it. We just follow it around. We're going to go all the way around the box. Now what we can do, we can find out as we go along. If we need extra ventilation in here at a later date, we can always add a few more. Bearing in mind you can't take any away. See how nice and easy that is. There we go, almost there. There you go. So that's lovely. So you can literally just run your hand down there. You shouldn't really get much in the way of any swarf, as it's called, on the outsides. And then all we can do is take our tape off. There we go. And there you have it. And as you can see there now, when we look at that, you've got a relatively straight line all the way around, which is what we're after, because we do like neat and tidy. We don't like things in a mess. So now what we're going to do is going to put the lid on, and we're going to do the same process in the lid. Now, one of the things to remember in the lid is don't put too much pressure on, because you've got nothing underneath it. So just go nice and gently, nice and steady. You'll also see on there's a rib here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill my holes on the rib that is highest, not in the low ones. I'm going to do it in the high ones, because the humidity will come up and it will collect in the high ridges. It won't collect in the low ones, it will collect in the high ridges. So they're the ones that we're going to put our holes in, and that will allow the water to go, the air to circulate, and allow that that moisture to evaporate. So we are going to literally, we don't need many, not many at all in the top. So we're going to literally put that through there. One in the centre. Remember, nice and steady in the roof. There we go. And we're going to go right down in the very middle. One in the centre. And we're going to go the same on the end again. So that is all we're going to do on the top. Remember, we can always add more, but we can't fill them in. Alright, so that's that. So now we just need to make sure all our little bits of plastic are out. And that's it. We are there. We're ready. Ready for our spider. So what we're going to do, we're now going to fill this up with some of our beastie mix, because remember, the beastie mix has got all the natural goodness that we need. There's also lots and lots of leaf mulch in this, which will help it retain its moisture. We're going to add some of the potting compost. So we're going to tip that in there as well. Wasn't a lot left in that one, was there? We will add some more. You always make sure you've got plenty of supplies. So we're going to literally just put that in there. Tub. So we're going to add some more of this potting compost. Now we use the potting compost basically to bulk it out. So it's literally going to give us that extra, because this is nice and cheap, easily accessible. We can mix it in. There we go. That's looking absolutely lovely. Get a bit more in there. Throw that bit out. We don't want that bit. I'm going to throw a bit of this in. That can go and all. Now don't forget, with the beastie mix, it's also got all your isopods, bits and pieces. We can add springtails to it as well. It'll be damp enough in here to give them a decent environment, and they'll flourish. It's surprising now with the Theraphosa species how much substrate you actually end up using. It's quite surprising. There we go. So just mix that up again. As you can see, by mixing the two together, you get a much better consistency, and they stay really, really good. Right, that is going to be enough. That is going to be fine. Now you can see we've got our air holes here, so you can see there the difference now, and you've got literally down to where your substrate is here. They don't need any more than this. This is more than enough for them to burrow down and disappear. And you'll find, being in here, they won't bother too much anyway. So we're just going to put a simple piece of bark in, coming up like so. We'll take some of this out from the front. There we go. We want them to go down in there. So that's where they're going to go. Right, that is it. Now what we're going to do, these guys do actually like, they do like their water. So I know these aren't very attractive. They're not the best dishes, to be fair, but they work really well. They just don't look very pretty. But down in our tubs, these are going to be on the floor in the beastie room. We won't really notice them as such. So what we're after is we're looking for things that are actually going to be serviceable, things that are going to work best. We're not too worried about looks. So we're going to fill that up, get some water in there. Now, being in a completely plastic box like this, you'll find your humidity will increase because the actual environment sweats. So you're going to end up with a very, very high humidity. But by having the holes here all the way around, this will get an airflow through. And because of the holes in the top, it will actually suck it out of the box, which in turn will keep your environment nice, which is what we're after. Because like we said before, although they require a high humidity, they really do need a nice clean environment. So we've got them in there like so. We don't need anything else in here now. We can add a little bit of sphagnum moss. That won't go amiss, and if anything, it will actually that will get buried and moved around within the soil. So that will help with our humidity as well. That'll help lock some of this in. Don't need a lot. I say once she gets in here, she will start tearing this around, and it will get mixed up all over the place. So we'll put a little bit of that in there. And what we're going to do now, we are going to get our spider out now. Now we got them up here. They've been up on the shelf here. We've got 2 of them here to do. And I think what we'll do, we will do this one. Now, one of the things that needs to be mentioned with this species of spider, all of the Theraphosa, they all have, I think they even class them up now to like a type 5 urticating hair. So these are a New World spider, and they kick hairs off their abdomens to warn away enemies. So anything that's trying to predate on them, these hairs will go up, they'll get into your skin, your eyes, everything, and they are really quite troublesome. Some people suffer terribly bad with them. Now, I'm not too bad with them, but I do react to them in a slight way. As you'll see, I'm in a t-shirt at the moment. You might find it best that if you do rehouse these yourselves, wear a long sleeve shirt. It might save you a little bit of scratching later on. Right, so what we're going to do, we're going to take the lid off of this. Now these are a very nervous spider, and they react in a way because of that nerve. Now she's kicking hairs already, and we haven't even got the lid off yet. So be very, very aware of these hairs. So I'm going to take the lid off now. We're just going to have to see how this goes. I'll try and give you a decent look at her before she disappears. So as you can see there, these are the Theraphosa apophysis. They're also known as the Burgundy Goliath bird eater, or the Pinkfoot bird eater. And as you can see there, she still has pink feet. Now, with the others, the Sturmy and the Blondie, they don't. These guys do. These have the pink feet. I think the Sturmies, when they're very, very young, they show a slight discoloration, but not like these guys do. Now, as you can see with this one there, she's got a nice clean abdomen. So she's not been upset by being in this box. We've kept her in here. She's had 2 molts in here since we've had her, and it's now time to move her over. She is due for a larger home. They do grow better given a little bit more space. Now, what we can do, this is the time where they start to kick up hairs and what have you. So what we're going to do, we're going to try and put her there, and then hopefully we can get her just to walk out without too much fuss. Now these are very, very quick. I don't know if you can see that.
The rim of the box literally.
So what we're going to do, we're going to put this like this. Improvise a little bit. Is that better? Right. Look at that. That sticks her hair kicking butt right under my nose. So I'm just gonna stand back a little bit like this because I really don't want to get a load of that. So now we're just gonna try and very gently. Now look, see that? Now that wasn't aggression. That was a food response. She was more thinking, that's food. Now she's having a nibble. But she's only trying it. She's only testing it. She's not actually really biting hard on that. She's literally just testing it. So we're going to see if we can't get her to wander over. At the moment, you see, we've got no hair kicking, which is a really good thing. This is what we want to avoid. Now you see that? We've let her go at her own pace, and all we're doing is touching her toes. And she's in of her own free will. And no hair kicking whatsoever. So that is quite an accomplishment there in itself. Now, as you can see now, you can see those pink feet, and the actual overall look of this spider is very, very sort of pink, rosy pink. Do you see that any better? It's a bit of an awkward one, isn't it? Can you get a clear view? Yeah? We're only tipping the water out.
It's a shame the pink's not really showing up, but yeah, we can see.
Yeah. So you got these are far hairier than the blondie and much hairier than the sturmy. You'll notice with this one here, if we're getting a nice close-up of her, you'll see that she has got hairs right the way from the carapace right the way to the ends of her toes. Very, very hairy. Now, in terms of a spider, the level of care that these guys require, the main thing really is getting the humidity right and the dry substrate. This is what we're really looking for. This is the most important part, is their environment. Many people suffer with them, with getting into molts and things like this, and I think some of that is because they go the opposite way and they're too wet. They're far too wet. So we need to really pay attention to their environment, and there's nothing wrong with them. The other main problem that you'll have, so that was me making her jump there, the other main problem that people have with these, especially for beginners, is they are very strong in their food response. And as you saw there, she spun round and she was ready. She thought she had food. And this can cause problems when you're trying to deal with them, because for a big spider, they are incredibly fast. Very fast. They're a very powerful spider. And when upset, have got the ability to really ruin your day. They can kick hairs all over the place, and they are really irritating hairs. So we're going to pop this down now. Oh look, she's going to come back up where we can see her. Probably see that. So yeah, so when we spoke a little earlier on about temperatures. We're going to keep this one around about the mid 70s to the lower end of 70s. So sort of between 70 and 75, and we're going to see how things are going. Now, these have been up at a little higher temperature because we've been growing them on a little bit, but now we're going to settle them out. We're going to steady them off. This one here is probably going to be another year before this is breedable. And you should be able to see a really nice, the colouring and everything on her now should be really nice. They really are a truly beautiful spider. They all come from Venezuela, Brazil, all around there. And these guys, when fully grown, a female can get up to sort of 10 inches. But more, 8 to 9 inches is more of the norm. A 12-inch specimen will be something else. That really would be a big, big spider. So we got these two. These are confirmed females, as we said before. We got these from Spa Spiders. So look them up on the net. They do some absolutely stonking stuff, some really, really nice spiders. And these are confirmed females as well. And when you're buying confirmed females, as we all know, you must get them from a reliable source. Because even here at the Beastie Room, we've purchased spiders and they've turned out males. And that's not a good thing, especially when you're trying to sort out breeding projects. So if you're looking for definite females, make sure you get them from a trusted source like Spa Spiders. You won't go wrong. They are spot on. Right then, so we're going to let this girl settle down now, and we're going to put her down, and we're going to find the lid. Where did I do with the lid? Got the lid. And we will leave her in there now for sort of 24 hours. And we'll let her sort herself out. She'll find sanctuary underneath that piece of log, and then she'll set up home, and then we'll feed her. So we'll probably give her 24 hours, maybe a little bit extra, and then we'll feed her and we'll see how she goes. But what a wonderful spider. Another really, really cool future breeding project. So we're going to put this on now. And as you can see, they're very, very nervous. They really are really nervous. And this is one of the downsides to them if you're a beginner. Right, well, we are going to carry on and do the other one, but I think you get the general idea and you've seen what we do. And this is how we look after them. And this is more than big enough of an enclosure for this size spider. And as we said earlier on, even as she goes up to being an adult, this will be more than enough. It'll be plenty. And we can keep them breeder in this size enclosure. Should be fine. Right. Don't forget, be calm, be gentle, and love your spider. And I'll see you soon, guys.